all know that the elites are above the law and they look down on law enforcement and law and order, even if they say or coined a term like defend law and order. And because they've got the protection of not only multiple states and multiple lawmakers that they have completely bought and that have sold themselves out to them, because of that, they have all this money, and that means power. It is that way in America. The secret, and like I said, you go to any DA, here in San Diego, it's a beautiful thing. They've got things, and it says, es la ley, no molestar, es la ley. And then there's my picture, and then it says, he raped you, call the DA now, we're gonna put him in jail. That's my picture. It's got the half face, it's got, evil, and it's got the mop bucket, and it's es la ley, and that means law of the land, law. And then that's, Mexico has lay it, and then America has lay it, but the Mexicans are both protecting San Diego. So that's how we want to do it, is we want to give the Mexicans a place where they can come up. And it doesn't say in the Constitution you have to make it easy, just because if you happen to be born in America, you get citizenship. The Constitution doesn't say you have to make it easy, but it doesn't say that San Diego can't say they want to make it easy. So, like I said, you're fucked here, you're fucked there, you're fucked here, you're fucked there. But the elites are above the law, and that's what I wanted to actually expand on. With that said, and that's with property ownership. My thoughts on these elite women that constantly TPO me. And I just had a thought, and I was walking around the MTS building there to get on this trolley going up to UTC, the first trolley out of here this morning. It's a little before 5 a.m. And it's a Sunday. And I was thinking about Victoria Leach, the woman that I had interviewed for the job at MTS. And they said, oh, you need a driver's license. I gotta have to get a driver's license. You're gonna have to go and have someone has a cheap car, do some research, find out where the easiest driver's test is, just go in. And we all get the California, you go to the library, it's California driver's guide. But I learned how to drive from a textbook, and every state has a few different little things you got to be aware of. There's Nevada, California, Hawaii, Utah. They all have the little books they have. The one in Hawaii still got David Ige's picture on it. The governor himself commissions it, says, oh, you're going to learn all things from engineering, great driving. I'm sure he's the one that said you got to put in that thing in the Hawaii driver's guide about, because he's an engineer. The human collision. You got to teach them. I just hear the 1970s Carl Sagan, PBS Nova, before they had PBS Nova. The narrator, the voiceover guy saying, the human collision. And then the reading about how then the body impacts and then it splatters all over because you weren't wearing your seatbelt. So wear your seatbelt is the thing with it. But I had this theory that they actually don't bring it up unless they just know something is about someone where they suck, or they can hear it in your voice. I'm kind of retarded. I just know from the way I'm talking. I drop food on myself when I eat, but it doesn't mean I can't clean the train. But I guess, then they make it an issue. That was my theory. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm saying that's a conspiracy theory. I'm not saying that's what Victoria Leach and MTS is doing, or that's what MTS's policy is. I'm saying that it's important to think conspiratorially, because that's something that we have to keep an eye out for. Will they start doing this to people? And one way to easily get the answer to that is Freedom of Information Act request, where you can find out, have they hired people that do not have California driver's licenses? I mean, I don't know if California is one of these places, like they're trying to encrypt all the property owners, or if they've got some things on the book. I looked it up where you can find out who the driver's licensees are. You should be able to. We should be able to connect who the employees at MTS are, because this is public payroll, and then see if they've got driver's license and see what roles they're in. So if you call up one of their PIO people and say, and corner them and say, hey, you got to give me a job, because you don't ask everybody if they have driver's licenses. But I kind of saw this woman in a blue jersey of some kind, looked like Victoria Leach, she's like a little Indian or something like that. We all met Upaharana in high school, and she was walking really fast, and she was vaping too. But I knew it wasn't her. But it was just, I just had this, and suddenly the thought came to me about Courtney Teague and all the women that had TPO'd me, and the woman in Nevada that led to the incarceration. It really, once a woman puts that in, then it becomes, and that's why you have to go to court, you have to fight it. That's the lesson, the key lesson here. It doesn't matter, you go to court and you fight it, you show on the record, this is groundless, because the woman now has, if you just let it go, I'm fine with them putting this crap on me. She can call up and say, I saw he was driving past my house. No, I wasn't. She can call up, I was driving, he was driving past my house, or I saw him driving, he's stalking me, he's following me. He's at Walmart. We're all shopping at Walmart in a town of 50,000 people. Yes, my car has my fucking face on it, because if you're a real estate agent, you're someone that has a sign on the car with a magnet, and that means you have to get a job. As they say, you have to get a, I mean, it means a lot of things. That's a person who needs to get a job. He's an idiot. Practical people are saying these people make no money. Yeah. But I have to get a job, and one way to get a job is by putting your face on your car and making people feel bad for you. You have some time on your hands, clearly, because I've got a spray bottle and a rag, and I've got a mop bucket and a mop. You could maybe do some cleaning for me. So you put your face on your car, and if it doesn't get you listings, it'll get you sympathy, and people will really just right there. That's why my face is on my car. Business. In any event, again, none of this is my only take on these cases and my only take on the legal reality. I have many different interpretations. I don't limit my understanding of things to one single identity, one set of abilities, one person with one social security number. That's limited thinking. That's because when you know you're meant to be Donald Trump, when you know you're meant to have billions of dollars, when you know you're meant to own skyscrapers, you have no choice but to have dissociative identity and to look at it that way, because one identity with one social security number, with one set of bank accounts, one body with 24 hours in a day to earn money from, you know, your wage job or whatever, that's not enough. I need to be 50 of those people. I need to be 100 of those people. I need to be 1,000 of those people in order to be, you know, so out of reality that I'm generating all this energy like nuclear or something like that, and then it's rewriting space-time. So I've got a Fred Trump, and my dad is Fred Trump, so I'm now Donald Trump, and my children can be Donald Trump Jr., Eric Trump, Ivanka. And we have all this money, and cameras are looking up at us, and cameras raise and back down on us, celebrities. Like, we're meant to be in our genes. Our genes are full celebrity. It's just we're lacking the money. So what do we do about that? And that's what we're trying to focus on now, and all the other things that we're doing. But I was thinking about what these TPOs are and what they could serve as. I want to talk about another way to look at it. So I'm talking about their actual, we were talking before about their actual function and how they fuck your life up, and how they gives a woman grounds to put felony charges on you because you're doing business. So it's a virtual non-compete clause in a lot of cases. But with Courtney Teague in Hawaii, I want to talk about in particular that I had made the case, and I put up videos. I'll link to the website again. Back when it came out in 2022, it was a pastiche love letter. That it was a love letter disguised as a TPO, and I talked about the literary interpretation of it that way. Why would this be necessary? Why would you do that? Well, one is to shit on the police, shit on the legal system, shit on law and order, because that's for poor people, and we're just gonna put crap in the courts, and we own the judges, we own the DA, we own the lawmakers. This is for us just to have fun. Everybody else is under, we pay off the FBI, we own the FBI, we own the Department of Justice. This is all for low-level people that we keep under us to be slaves and employees of us as rich billionaires. So we're just going to go in and do a PSYOP case, and we're going to have sex right in front of the judge. There's nothing you can do about it, like Ted Bundy declaring himself married to someone because of some Florida statute, you know, and we own the judge anyway. That's what it's about. I think it's a beautiful thing that Donald Trump gets to do that. Shouldn't I? If Donald Trump gets to do that, shouldn't Courtney Teague? And so if we interpret it that way, but why would that be necessary? Let's look at it another way. Why? Because I think the way that, to continue on that point, the elites who truly play their game of love, they have their love stories written in deeds. So since we can't have deeds and we can't own skyscrapers, I guess we'll just use the court system to make these TPOs. So we've got a record too with our name on it. It's official. It's been, a seal has been put on it by judicial, and it's notarized so that, you know, even though we can't own property, we can still have records that are held about us in perpetuity in courthouses. So this is it's a way to beat the man in that sense by saying, we're gonna fuck up law enforcement, law and order, the judges. We're gonna own them the way that the rich own them, and just pay them out to put whatever judgments on people and jail our enemies. We're gonna own them too, just have sex right in front of the judge. That's our way of being the elite and not being under it, but owning them instead of being under it. Being the slave owner, not the slave, and refusing to have been born in our social class and to have our level of power and not own these people. So to continue on, there's another way to look at it, which is why would it be necessary? So let's look at it from the perspective of the sickly birth. Like, born sickly, you're weaker. It takes you a longer time to develop the speed of movement that most people have to be able to make their moves on people, snatch someone up. It's not rape. It's what girls want. They like to be swept off their feet. I was looking at, and in fact, I've got the magazine here. I'm going to have to maybe put a link to the picture because it's historical imagery from SDSU that they had. It was in SDSU's magazine, and it was showing some scores from Southern California football back when it was that era, the era of the game, Harvard, Yale, that era. So I'm going to put up that picture, but it said that the Aztecs, the San Diego College Aztecs, or whatever it was called back then, so they were the Aztecs, and that they had swept away Whittier College poets. I saw some bumper stickers when I was going through La Mesa looking for a post office that said Whittier College alumni, and so they just decided to get out of it, obviously, but because the poets weren't getting anywhere and being swept away by people that said that's full disability, return to Biana, get on the ground, boom, and then we'll get the ball in the end. But it was played a little different back then, and they didn't have all that shoulder pad stuff. It was played a little different. This was Donald Trump can tell you all about it. He was a football player from the military academy in New York. But the necessity of it would be that because we can't just grab that girl in the blue, jersey, smoking a vape around the corner of the MTS building, make our move very quickly because we're slower, we're sicker. And today I'm actually sick. It does actually slow you down. It's become a little bit of a lower respiratory tract infection. So I've got to get up to Walmart and buy more Mucinex. It's absolutely necessary. That's how I survived COVID 3 or 4 or 5 times. I came across something on my phone that said secret nurses are being told to take a lot of, because they're going to get sick at the hospital, and they didn't know at the time how serious. It's like you could get the Ebola. It's one of these, but we're heroes. We have to go get the Ebola and die. Turned out not to be so bad, but so many people were able to avoid, end up on a ventilator from COVID-19 by taking a lot of Mucinex and drinking a lot of water, as I did. I had it like 3 times. I did get the vaccines, and it really did decrease every time I tested positive for it. As it went on for years and years and years, the symptoms of it. But I had a cold, and that's kind of always been the thing with me. And when I was younger, the cold would turn into bronchitis. So it would be upper respiratory tract infection, and always a couple of days in or a week in, this was happening out, it become bronchitis. But when I take Mucinex, prevents that from happening. So I've got kind of a bad cold, but I've been taking a lot of Dayquil and Mucinex, so it kind of masks the symptoms of it, makes me less feverish. So I got a pretty bad cold, but you just kind of know because now it's becoming it's in the chest. But the Mucinex will loosen that up so that it doesn't become something where I gotta go to the hospital and get breathing treatments, Ventolin, and albuterol, like it's asthma or something like that. Again, I don't have that problem anymore. It was really bad when I was young. So because you start off sicker, and you're not on track to become a football player. By the way, I'm going to make a separate video about this. What do you do for someone like that? Get them out of a humid area and take them to the high desert. Take them to the Mojave, actually, farther. If they're in San Diego here, they might be someone that, oh my God, I've got a kid that has asthma. Get them to Vegas. Get them to Phoenix. Get them to Vegas. Because in the Mojave, they're probably going to fare a lot better. And this is something that my family should have known, should have been aware of. Never just gave any thought to, that they tell people, they've been telling people for generations, when you've got respiratory issues, in the tuberculosis epidemic era before they could arrest that, there was other things also that when you had whatever it was, you have to go to the high desert. You have to go to where it's dry, there's no humidity. That's the place you have to go to survive. And they still tell people that. So for asthma, it's the same thing. You should move to Las Vegas. You've got asthma, you should move to Las Vegas. I could have become a football player. I could have went to Bishop Gorman, or even if I was in public schools, I could have ended up, whatever. I could have been playing football because I would have been on track now, not succumbing to the and the thing with Hawaii too, even more so than San Diego, the thing with Hawaii is the allergens include mold, and you can just smell it. The air is so humid there. I don't know if it's this way in Costa Rica. I have to go and see. I'm just thinking it's so much closer to the equator, and there's other things too. It's the stuff you've got there. I don't know what it's the allergens so it's a lot of it has to do with the humidity, and things can stew in that humid environment, hot humid environment all year round. It's wet. Here in San Diego, it doesn't rain too much, which is what I like. But in Honolulu, you look at the weather forecast, it's going to rain once a day somewhere on your head, even a little bit, even if it's not a torrential downpour. All of that just leads to a different kind of toxic stew of allergens, which is for the asthmatic. Get him to Vegas, that kid can play football. So, but my parents didn't think to do that. So, okay, I'm on track now not to be on, University of Hawaii, not even as a walk-on, to be able to take the prize. And I don't care if I don't know calculus. I like women that do know calculus, and I'm going to pin them down. And that isn't a rate because I'm a football player, and I'm going to be able to. So again, because of what I like, that identity, even though my brain can't do it, but that identity, knowing calculus, being an engineer, being a poet or whatever, having all this knowledge, and being a lawyer, Juris Doctor, because by the way, body dysmorphia, I don't have a body. My identity, my sense of self is a map of a university. Just because I did go to the University of Hawaii, it became UH Manoa. But if it were San Diego State University, it'd be SDSU. If it were the flagship campuses, USC, UCLA, it would have been those campuses up in LA there. That would have been that's who I am. And parts of me light up. So when something in the world is a challenge, it's a legal challenge, and I have to be a lawyer, or just in the process of trying to work with a lawyer, retain a lawyer, to make a decision on what lawyer to retain. These are things, when I was in real estate, you have to learn how to vet these people well. The part of me that lights up, the part of my body that lights up, is Richardson School of Law at UH, and I'm in there, and I'm wearing the suit, and we're doing the moot court, and all these beautiful women that are becoming lawyers, and we're having our sex, and it's the secret of it all. We're having, because sex is necessary. Sex is necessary. We're just having all this sex in the moot court, and we're learning from these books, and we're being taught about the torte and the Juris Doctorate lawyer. Rectenwald. That was not Rectenwald. I like when it was Rectenwald. And they do it differently state to state, but the way it is in Hawaii is the bar is actually Hawaii Supreme Court. So I've got my ID number, lawyer, Master Civil lawyer, Juris Doctorate lawyer, bar admitted, lawyer, stand before honor this thee thine, being stand, can practice before a judge, before the bar, and lawyer, suit, all packed in there, all that. The way the suit is so finely pressed, the knowledge is packed into the suit. It's a mnemonic device. But when anything related to lawyers and law, that the part of my body that lights up is Richardson School of Law. If I have to say something beautiful, the part of my body that lights up is Kuykendall Hall, because that's where they teach the English majors, Kuykendall Hall at UH. If I have to touch science, it's the biology lights up, and all these buildings. If I have to touch nutrition, or so SDSU, they have actually a separate building for nutritional sciences, and it's by ENS over this. There's an ENS field, so I guess that's like the way they do it at University of Hawaii. They teach the kinesiology and all that stuff at the athletics complex with Timmy Chang and the Brotherhood, John and Jared Ursula, they're doing their thing, and all the other people, and they're all there. They've got tennis, and the band for the golf team, and think about these people that are NCAA and they're just golfing, but they get on this van, men's and women's golf, and they go to every golf course that's worth anything on Oahu, including Turtle Bay. They should be golfing in high school, but that's where they teach that stuff. And so those, when I have to think about athletics, when I have to think about nutrition, but at University of Hawaii, there's it's actually on more North Campus. You can cut right through into Mānoa Valley with a little hike through some residential houses that are very interesting. You can't take your car through, but you can go through as a pedestrian. And so there's a lot to do in Mānoa Valley. You don't have to actually go all the way around at UH. But that's the part of my body that lights up that, that's the agriculture school part where you study farming and agriculture. I have to know about nutrition. The part of my body that lights up is that building. The part of my body that lights up. Everything is, my existence is all of the knowledge of a university. But so the reason why these TPOs would have to be done that way, since we can't move on each other and sweep each other off our feet and have that tryst in physical reality, because our bodies are born sickly, and that part of us, the physical part of us, is behind by 10 years or 20 years, but this don't wait, this don't lie, Matthew, so both toe, penis, that don't wait, so you still have to age appropriately, use it in a vagina. So even though you don't have the ability to move on it the same way everyone else your age does, so it doesn't have to be done on paper. So these recorded documents like these recorded documents, these temporary protective orders that show the history, a lot like we wrote a book about our love story or something that comes after. These recorded documents are that exchange. They are that tryst that happens in like micro space-time. Like, you know, it's just women want to be swept off their feet, and it's just, you know what to do. The first thing you got to start doing is getting your hands on it, and you got to believe you deserve it. Because we're talking through psychiatry and through everything to deprogram us, to keep us slow, like social rhythm therapy. And I said in a previous video that was all anti what you're supposed to do to get an elite woman. That was all anti, to make sure that you're medicated, slowed down, given this verbal consent at every stage template. So you date a special person to disintegrate you, you're a disintegrated puzzle piece. And it's, you know, racial integrity. If you're autistic, you have to date your own. All this neurodiversity stuff is so that the people that are neurotypical know that you, like, you know, the Jewish tradition or something, you're going to have, where are you going to get your sex from when you're at university? You're going to have one of your own. No, that you look at all that stuff, that should be to brainwash. That's the shit we put in the neurotypical water to wet their pussies at the way we talk, you know, and so that when we and we're sickly, and we have to, you know, pull our pants down in the college, community college, and then, you know, open up a shit bag and start shitting because we're so sickly with megacolon and autistic. That's stuff that should arouse neurotypical women, because it's like there's a tradition, you know. That means we're going to marry our own. So that it turns, you know, the way you look at it, that they don't have to worry. It's what that neurotypical stuff was. They have to let us go to college and try to become engineers and learn calculus. San Diego Community College, they have the Honolulu Community College. They have to let us on the campus when they put all that stuff out. But you look at that stuff, I demand that the crap in the water of the neurotypical, beautiful, elite level women, that they have to spread their legs for me. I have a term called ideological speculum, or rather ideological mass speculum. The speculum is to spread the pussy lips open. It's for medical. John A. Burns School of Medicine, Matthew Stewart, medical doctor. Speculum is to spread the pussy open for the pussy inspection. But this is to spread the whole legs open and hold the woman down by hypnotic, basically, because there's brainwashing that says autistics are elite, high IQ, and you're going to be rewarded financially, hooked up with so much money for having a child and let him get a seed in. That's mass speculum. So it's ideological mass speculum. There's this device that's holding the neurotypical, very, very elite, sexy, tall, blonde woman's legs open and up so that he can get his sickly, crappy body onto there and get the cum in her, so that his son that can play football is going to come out of there and rip her open between her legs. And that's what all women yearn for. So all this stuff about anti-rape, it's like women want to be ripped between their legs. They love the full loss of control, being human. There's nothing we can do about it. And that light sensation of my clitoris, the way it increases as it turns purple, as this man pummels me. If it started out as rape, it's not rape anymore. And that ideological mass speculum falls away. And it's just that penis and him on top of her humping is the ideological mass speculum at that point. But since we can't do that in physical, the first, you know, all the hookups happen non-verbally. The first interaction between a couple, it's the kiss. It's the first kiss at the Carlsbad train station or something. It's not even that. The first, when it happens, is complete non-verbal touch. It's always, and that leads to everything else, because the way things are, so people don't realize, is men want to be having sex with women and women want to be having sex with men. And the incidental of clothing, or the obstacle of there being clothes, the obstacle of there being real estate and housing, you have to have a place where it's socially appropriate to have the privacy to have that sex. These are things that society has kind of agreed, since we're all wanting to have sex with each other so much, and we're so, the virility of our man seed and the egg inside there and all that, and it's supposed to be pregnant, that you know, there has to be some constraints on it, but that's the constraint. You can't just start having sex in public. So you got to find the right place to do it. And because that is the social force at work, you can hook up with someone not even speaking their language 100% non-verbally. I'm not talking about, you know, paid $30 to someone in Zona Norte down there, and one after the other, because you get sex for a cost of pack of cigarette or whatever. So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people that you don't pay money for it in that sense. It happens 100% non-verbally, because that's the force at work. When there's attraction, someone's not repulsive, they're beautiful, when someone's handsome, they're gonna start connecting. You don't have to say a thing. If there's words that are being said, all of those words just serve as distraction, even though everyone knows what's going on. If you're like in a hotel or something, you're gonna get her into your hotel room, you're gonna start fucking. The words that are said are just disabling and distraction to ease each other's embarrassment that they're gonna lose control together once they get behind those doors, because everybody just knows that they're gonna go have sex. And you can, but everybody knows. And so all the words that are said, the banter, the let's talk about the weather, this is what people don't teach about. All that stuff is just, you know what we're gonna do, and they'll look at the mannerisms. It's like, they just kind of ease that we're gonna go and be human together, so that everybody else, you're a little embarrassed about it. They're supposed to be, that's why we work close, that's why we have to go behind closed doors to do it. But everybody knows what it is, and just kind of trying to distract, you get people's heads off the fact that we are gonna go and have sex. When you're getting her into the hotel room, that's what the words are. That's what the talk about the weather is about. The attraction has already solidified itself as sure as the sperm is going to impregnate the egg. This is the stuff that exists. It's a psychic aspect to it. It already happened. And sex happens in the woman. A biological definition of it's inside the womb. There can't be child support. That's ridiculous. I just did what I was evolutionarily to dump it in her, but all the sex happened in her, and that's on her. The real definition of sex is the fertilization. When my penis came out, the deed wasn't even done, and it's just that's all I did. I didn't do sexual reproduction with her. So I shit on Law and Order that way. So I don't agree with child support and all of that. Society is structured completely different when you're these judges, and now they're using Maury Povich in court. You are the father, and they pull up the paternity test. We gotta have a better world where people can just afford to drop their inadvertent consequences of the filth that a man and a woman need to experience with each other to function. You don't do that filth with someone. Your head starts to shut down, you become repressed, you're slow, the repression causes legitimate psychosomatic response. You can't say that it's something you can go to a therapist to have, or go to there's nothing you can do, but you have to ejaculate inside a vagina. You have to be, like I say, sufficiently ejaculated inside of your trophy wife. But, so you see what I'm saying about why we need these TPOs? That's the tricks. That's all of that. Since we can't do that because we're slow and we're sickly and we're born asthmatic, and so that the physical part of us is behind, but our brains aren't, and our penises aren't, and our clitorises aren't, and this don't lie, both, so we have to use it. That part of us is done on paper.